Now we will look at another beautiful animal, the horse. Let's see, maybe you have seen a horse at the beach or somewhere, or a wedding, or some pictures. Let's learn to write about a horse. Now a horse is a lovely animal. Like dogs, horses are very beautiful, intelligent animals. They say just like the dog is faithful to the master, the horse also is a faithful animal. Okay? And many people are very fond of keeping horses, although it's costly. Now, what are the uses of a horse? We use horses for riding, pulling carts, sometimes for cultivating in the field. The uses. Then, when you talk about a horse, when you look at the old pictures, what do you see? The horses were used during battles to fight big wars those days. So the kings used to love and keep a special horse as his pet. And they say they're so friendly, they take good care of it. It's a strong, swift animal. It can run long distances. They are loyal. They also help their master in time of danger. Then one fascinating thing about it, you never see a horse seated. It's always standing. And sometimes you've seen they put cover for the eyes so that the horse goes in one direction. Yes. So now, and then you have seen the hair of the horse, the tail of the horse, they all look so beautiful, isn't it? So now, today we are going to learn to write about the horse, a beautiful little animal, the horse. So when you talk about horse, what will you write first? Dogs are a faithful animal, like dogs. Like dogs, just like dogs, horses are very faithful animals. Like dog, horses are very faithful. Very faithful animals. So, we are talking about a faithful animal. They also say horses are great friends of man, very friendly. They are very friendly. They are very friendly to man. Then what do we say next? Like the dog, they are faithful animals, they are very friendly, they are very nice to men. Then what do you use the horse for? Normally you see we use horses for riding. So we can say they are used for riding, horse riding. They are used for riding. What else? Racing. Horse races you have heard of. And pulling carts. Tonka, you would have seen tonka. Pulling carts. And what else? And sometimes for cultivating in the field. Pulling carts and cultivating, fields. So, what are horses? Like dogs, horses are very faithful animal. They are very friendly to man. They are used for riding, for horse races, for pulling carts and cultivating fields. So, all these are the uses of a horse. Now, when you talk about horse, when you look at a picture of a horse, you think of the olden days. So, in the olden days, horses were used during battles. Yes, in the olden days, in the olden days, in the olden days, horses were used, horses were used where used during battles, during battles. Okay. So, like dogs, horses are very faithful animals. They are very kind to man. They are used for riding, racing, pulling carts and cultivating fields. In the olden days, the horses were used in the battles. Now, what kind of a animal is horse? It is swift. It can run fast. It's a swift and strong animal and it can run long distances. So, you will say a horse is a swift, and strong animal. It is swift and strong animal and can run. It can run long distances and can run long distances. So, it is fast, it is quick, it is strong and it can run long distances. Then what do you say? It is a loyal friend. They say in the olden days, the history says horses are loyal and has helped to save masters' lives. So, they say history is full of stories about history is full of stories. History is full of stories about loyal horses. History is full of stories about loyal horses who helped to save, who helped and saved their master, who helped and saved their masters. So, what are the different kinds of stories you read in the history? They say history is full of stories about horses who helped and saved their masters. What is the fascinating thing about a horse? A horse is never seen seated, it is always standing. Okay. One fascinating thing about a horse, about horses is that they never sit. That they never sit. You are always seeing the horses standing. Then, what do you call the male? The male horse is known as the male horse. The male horse is known as stallion. The male horse is known as a stallion. The female, what do you call the female? Mare. The female, what do you call the female? Mare. Alright, what do you call the baby? The baby horse, the baby horse is called a foal, or you can also say a colt or a colt. Okay. A horse, it has got beauty, grace, and they say utility. It's beautiful, it's graceful, and it is useful. So you say a horse is a horse is a horse has beauty, is beautiful. Okay. Beauty, a horse has beauty, grace. It looks lovely to look at, okay, isn't it? Grace and utility, it is useful. You can go on writing about a horse, colors, some are black, brown, whatever. You can talk about the horse's hair on its back, you can talk about the lovely tail of the horse is most attractive. Sometimes the face and the eyes, they really look lovely, the ears stick out so beautifully. Now, you can write a lot of detail, but here we are writing a short composition about a horse. When we talk about a horse, we say, like dogs, the horses are very faithful animal. Dogs are faithful, similarly the horses also. They are very friendly to man, faithful to man, friendly to mankind. They are used for riding, horse racing, pulling carts, and sometimes cultivating in the fields. In the olden days, when you talk about horse, in the olden days, horses were used during battles, to fight battles. A horse is fast, so we say it's swift, it is strong animal and can run long distances. Then, when you talk about stories in the book, history is full of stories about loyal horses who helped and saved their masters, faithful, loving to masters. Okay. One fascinating thing about horses is that they never sit. You always see a horse standing, the horse never sits. The male horse is known as stallion, female we say mare, and the baby horse, either you call it a foal or a colt. Now, there are several uses of a horse. A horse has beauty, it's got grace and utility. It is useful, it is lovely to look at. The most beautiful animal that you can write about. So, you can write more detail if you like, but now we are learning a short composition on the horse.
Now we will learn to write a short composition on dog. Most of us have, most of you have pets, and I'm sure you love to keep a puppy as your pet. Yes? Now, children normally love pets, and to have a little pet like a little puppy, and to help it to grow, feed and cuddle and take it for a walk. Now, the dogs are supposed to be man's best friend, and they are mainly flesh-eating animal, but there are also vegetarian animals. Now, there are different kinds of dogs, you know. There are Pomeranians, there are German Shepherds, Labradors, all sorts of names, different types. And normally children fall in love with the different kinds of dogs. Now, dogs are faithful friend of man. And if you love a dog dearly, he gives back that love and he takes care of not only you, your surrounding, your home. Now, that is why, because of the faithfulness of the dog, police force all over the world use dogs to catch thieves. Okay? So, now we are going to write about dog. When you say you have a friend, you have a pet dog, then we say befriending. A dog means having a friend for life. That's why some people, when their dogs die or get sick, they cry. Because dog is like a member of the family, like one of the children in the family. And they're taken care of, well cared for, and the dog returns love for love. So they always say, you want to love someone dearly, love a dog. He will return 100% love. So we could write about the dog. The dog. When you say we are having a dog as a friend, we say befriending. Keeping dog as a friend means having a good, faithful friend for life. So the first is befriending. So first we can say befriending a dog means having a good and faithful good and faithful friend for life. Friend for life. As long as he has life, he will be a good friend and he'll take care of you. So, when you write first, what will you write about? You'll say, dogs are man's good friend. Okay? Just like many animals, you'll say, a dog is always a faithful friend of man. So you will write, a dog is always a faithful friend of man. At the first sentence you'll write about dog. Then what else? They say they are loyal. Their loyalty to man you cannot measure. So when you talk about a dog is always a faithful friend of man and a good and loyal, and it is always loyal to its master, loyal to its Master. Who is a master? The person who trains and loves and takes complete charge. So, a dog is always a faithful friend of man and it is always loyal to his master. Then what else will you write? Most commonly kept pet in the world. It is the most common. It is the most commonly kept. It is the most commonly kept pet in the world. Most children, neighbors, you ask, what's your pet? You will say it's a dog. Only thing, it will be different types of dog. What does the dog, keeping him in the house, what does it do to you? A dog, he guards, he loves, guards, and protects your life and your house. What does he do? He loves you. He loves, guards. He loves, guards, and protects. He loves, guards, and protects the house. What does the dog do? The dog loves you. He guards and protects the house where you live in. Then what else? For lonely people, people who are single, a man or a woman living single in the house, the best companion is a dog. So what will you say? It is or he is a companion in loneliness. He is a companion in loneliness. Those who are alone. Then the dog is a member of your family. So you cannot just segregate him. He loves you, he guards and protects your house, and he is a companion in loneliness. Now, you say, he is a member of the family. He is a member of the family. Then what else will you say? What more? The food. The dog is normally a flesh-eating animal. He is a flesh-eating animal. But there are also dogs that are vegetarian. There are dogs who are vegetarians too. Now, what do you talk about his sense of smell? They say a dog has a strong sense of smell and loyalty, and he offers unconditional love. So now we are talking about his sense. He has a very strong sense of smell. Got a very strong sense of smell. The street dogs. Now when you talk about smell, you say the street dogs also, they also bark. The street dogs also bark at any stranger. The street dogs also bark at any stranger. who enters their street. So generally dogs have strong sense of smell, but even the street dogs, they sense, and what do? They bark at any stranger who enters the street. Then there are different kinds of dogs, shapes and color and size. There are different. There are several kinds, several types and kinds of dogs. What else? It is good, they say, for children to love and care for a pet like dog. They say, for children, it is good. It is good to love and care for a pet, for a pet. It is good for children. It is good to love and care for a pet dog. They say in all countries they use a dog because of his sense of smell. I said they have a strong sense of smell. And approaching of strangers, they're very, very sensitive. So all police department, they do train dogs to catch criminals. So this is the short composition on dog. The dog. Befriending, that in keeping a dog as a friend. A good and faithful friend for life. Befriending a dog means having a good and faithful friend for life. Dog will not let you down. A dog is always a faithful friend of man. And it is always loyal to its master, who always taking care, feeding, training. The dog is always faithful to its master. It is the most commonly kept pet in the world. Most common. Any house you go, any place, it is the dog that is more common than other pets. He loves and guards and protects the house. He is a companion in loneliness. Sometimes there are single people, old people living in a house or a flat, and they have a pet dog. He is a good companion, a great friend, because they are lonely, they don't have children, they are alone, but dog seems to be a wonderful companion. He is a member of the family. Everyone treats the dog, the pet dog, as a member of the family, plays with it, feeds it, takes care of it. He is a flesh-eating animal. But there are dogs who are vegetarian too. They can manage. He has a very strong sense of smell. The street dogs also bark at any stranger who enters their street. There are several types of and kinds of dogs. For children, it is good to love and care for a pet dog. It is good feeling for them. It's good for them because taking care, looking after. And the children are safe because of the dog.